want a good low-cost LiPo checker, guys, then look no further, as this is my URUAV Lipo checker review. Yours for under $10. Want to see why I think it's so good? Then keep watching, because this thing is quite feature-packed. Welcome to my URUAV Lipo checker. Which one of these lipos is full, which one's empty, which one's maybe got a duff cell? You just cannot tell simply by looking at them, guys. Now there is a sort of expensive but very good way to check them, which is this. Well, the expensive way, and I'd highly recommend this charger by the way, guys, from Venom, is to get a nice charger like this where you can scan through and see every one of the cell voltages. There's a 4S pack I've got charging on there now, but you can see up to 6S can be shown on the charger. Nice and easy, but a little bit more expensive. Some of the cheaper chargers don't have a digital display, and you won't be able to get that information on the battery voltages. But I do appreciate that a lot of people are out there on a budget, and something like that Venom Pro Quad charger is not for everyone. There are lots of good low-cost chargers out there for lipos, but if you're using one that hasn't got a digital display, if a cell in one of these lipos goes bad, you won't know until the thing either fails in the field and the car simply just goes very, very slowly because that cell is failing, or worst case, the cell drops too low down in voltage and the thing bursts into flames. That is why keeping a good check on the individual cell voltages on the lipo, guys, is absolutely vital. Traditionally, I've used this high-tech battery charger, which is yours for about $20 online on there. Very good, as I'll show you in just a second. It does have one downside though, in that the display on it is just purely a black LED one, so in bright sunlight or at night, you can't see it at all. Which brings me to my new purchase, which I'm going to be taking out in the field with me. This is a URUAV Lipo checker, and it also acts as a receiver signal strength checker on there. Now that's not something I know a great deal about, guys, so anyone with knowledge of that function, guys, please do have your say in the comment section below the video, because I would love some value add checking the receiver signal strength has. Anyway, time to demo both of them and show you why this one is looking good, particularly yours for under $10, and I'll put a link to it below the video. Just remember, guys, if you like what you see today, don't forget to subscribe. And my cheap low cost tip of the day, guys, is next time your parents are discarding one of these bread bag ties, take it and you can write full on one side, empty on the other, and then just clip them on your lipo when they're on the shelf with the relevant one facing upwards, so you know just which battery is full and you don't go taking the empty one out in the field by accident. So that's my tip of the day for you. Anyway, first up, the high-tech lipo checker on here. So I plug the battery in and you can see all 4 cell voltages up there straight away. It also does have the advantage that you can see how much charge there is left in the pack up there. But it does have the disadvantage with no backlight to it. In bright sunlight, it's very hard to see. Likewise at night, you're not going to see it at all. Whereas with my new URUAV Lipo checker, full color display on there, guys, so even at night you're going to be able to see the display on there showing you exactly what each cell voltage is to establish if there's a problem on there. Now the only thing you will know is this doesn't show the capacity left in the pack, but importantly it does show the voltage of each cell very, very clearly on there, and it's going to work in all lights, which is a key advantage to my mind. And if you've got a pack that you put in the car and the car is running slowly, you're going to immediately be able to see what the problem is by plugging it into this in pretty much all weathers. So that's a huge advantage to my mind. Now it has several other functions when it comes to the receiver signal strength checking, which are S-Bus, and you scan through by using this button at the bottom, DSM 1024, DSM 2048, PPM, and PWM, and before getting back to our voltages on there. So as I say, anybody who wants to explain the receiver signal strength bit would much appreciate it. On the back of it, it's got 2 input voltages. So here you can have 5 volts or 3.3 volts. You can input the power for checking the receiver either via a C USB port on this side, conventional USB port on that side, or the LiPo as I've got plugged in here. and it will take 2 different types of receiver lead in there. So I'm sure that is very, very useful. I'm thinking that's probably more use for people doing aeronautical stuff than RC cars, but I would like somebody to explain the function of that. Anyway guys, this is very, very neat. It's very well built. I would say that's easily going to be able to fit in my toolbox in the back of the car and take that out in the field with me, predominantly because a lot of the time here in California it's bright sun, and that is not the best thing at all in bright sun. Well, that concludes my URUAV Lipo checker review, guys. I'm loving that full colour display on there. I think if you are checking the receiver signal strength, I'm assuming that that has got a very, very good capability for doing that. Indeed, but as I say, if someone wants to explain that in more detail to me, I would much appreciate that, as I'm sure would others watching this video. But in terms of a super cheap lipo checker, very, very cost effective, less than half the price of the high-tech one, I have to say this is ticking a lot of boxes for yours truly. Anyway guys, let me know what you think in the comment section below the video. Well, thumbs up if you like this video, guys. Post any comments you might have in the comment section below the video, and hit the circle below to subscribe. And if you do hit the circle, don't forget to hit the bell.